Hi there, Pisces, and welcome to this week's astrological forecast with your modern shaman Maria in Rainbow Land. Here with the heartful forecast from Denmark from the 22nd to the 29th of October 2018. This week we are starting out with 5 to 7 minutes just with your personal shorter forecast, tarot cards, 2 cards, and continue going deeper into the astrology with this beautiful nature that we have around us now, filmed from the air while I'm talking. You can see where I am. I'm having a fire here, even though the fire is almost dead, because I know it's gonna come up again. We'll make it burn. I will show you. Well, it is about water energy this week, so since we are now having the sun moving into your 9th house of Scorpio, and you are water energy as well. And in water energy, it's all about intuition. It's all about letting go of the past. It's all about being in the flow. So here we let go. We let go of the need to control, but we try to put ourselves in. Instead of holding on to the shore tightly, we let go and let ourselves float into the water and see where life and God is taking us. And this you're good at, so it's a good placement. But of course, with the retrograde here, Venus retrograde here, is something about a relationship that hasn't been completely living up to the standards, not the standards, but more like the expectations and what it was that you wanted. Instead of look at me, let's look at the beautiful nature. So Venus here is definitely pushing you, and not only Venus, as I said, the Sun is in here too, Mercury is in here, Jupiter, your second ruler, is even in here, right? So there's a lot going on, and your ruler has been here for almost a year now, and soon it will be moving out, of course, Jupiter. And it's pushing you towards adventure and the more explorative side of you. And as Venus is retrograding, it's there in this area where we also have planet of communication, Mercury, etc. There can be some kind of tricky communication with someone who, someone called, with someone that lives far away, comes from another background, or something that's not exactly what you wish for, because in the 9th house it's something that trying to expand your horizon where you have difficulties, expand your horizon. So it doesn't have to be someone from another country, it can just be someone who comes from another type of family, another type of raising, another type of situation, stuff like that. Yeah, the sun here in this week and the flow that will be here is helping you feel that you grow and you expand, and you actually embrace a new way of evolving, which also has something to do with what I just said with this person. So it's creating a new stimuli, like more independent, freedom searching, traveling, higher education, being more spontaneous, and with fire. Oh, let's get some fire while I'm talking. And also, since your 9th house is in the Scorpio, it can also have a more spiritual side to it, where we're talking more about the more mysterious sides of life. See if we can get this going a little bit more. Okay, if you could be here with me now, you would know that it's very smoky. I know that this seems a little like, why doesn't she bend and break them? But these are really stubborn pieces of wood. They don't just break. So now I'm just gonna do like this, and also because I also have to sit down and talk to you guys again, of course. But I just want you to see some fire, because with all this 9th house, which is ruled by a fire sign, Sagittarius, this is the energy, now you can see things are going on here. Sorry, I'm all out of breath. So at the same time, we have a full moon in Taurus with Uranus conjunct the moon. So something in your environment, like immediate environment, a neighbor, a sibling, sister, a brother, can create a havoc in your life, something that surprises you, because the restless Uranus is involved, and it's often very surprising what happens. A new situation suddenly, and a sudden change, you're like, whoa, where did that come from? Yeah, maybe you can teach, you can learn something from someone who is like being very open to you, because here in the third house where it's going on, it's communication, and here someone might say something in a very frank and direct way. So of course, yeah, even though it's surprising at first, maybe it can help your higher view. So yeah, well, we also have a Venus-Sun conjunction, so the vivid imagination is going to come up, and the creativity, the wanting to learn something, do something creative, and yeah, with Venus here, of course, it can be in cooperation with someone else, and again, someone different in the 9th house. So you have to be open-minded, and you can learn something about opening your mind to a new situation. And there's also a square, a grand trine. So it can, and this not a grand trine, a square to north between the north node, south node, Uranus, and Venus. So there's a square in your sectors of the 12th and the 6th and the 3rd and the 9th house. So that can be something to do with your health situation, your everyday situation that's tricky, about how you do your diet, when you go to sleep, do you eat healthy, or do you drink and do stuff that you're not supposed to do, health-wise, that your body is trying to say no to. At the same time, there's maybe something stuck inside of you from the past, inside of your head, inside of your body and system, where you're stubborn, where you need to learn to let go. It's in the fixed signs. It can have something to do with stubbornness, where you need to expand your mind, because this is a very great chance to be more open-minded, expand your horizon, and come out in a new situation, in a new everyday life situation. Let's take the cards. So these are the astrology cards. The first astrology card of the week for the Pisces. Astrology card of the week for the Pisces. South node, Leibstift. Okay. The south node is in your 12th house. This is really you letting go of something from your past. Something that definitely no longer serves you. Something that has been hidden for a while, but you know what it is. It might have been up for the last 1.5 years here, and again, reminding you about something that you need to let go of. Some habit, perhaps. Bad habit. Do you drink and smoke? Go to sleep too little? Is there anything you do to your body? Is there anything you do in your daily life that is not good for you? This can be the time to really let go of it. Open your mind to new possibilities. Don't fear. Let go of the fear of that you can do it. Trust in the process. Trust that you can do it. Even though you have to battle your ego, you just have to try to meditate and open your heart. Tarot card of the week for the Pisces. Aquarius, that is your 12th house. That is exactly where the south node is. It's all about the south node here. It's all about you cleaning yourself. You have to clean and clear yourself. If you're smoking weed, if you're escaping reality, you need to clean yourself so that you can be out there in the world and show all the rest of us how amazing and beautiful you are with all your dreams and beautiful visions of the future. But you need to clean yourself first. And get rid of that past that is holding you down so that you can move forward. Don't follow trends, follow your heart. Sending you all my love, sending you all my care and lots of hugs. And see you next week, unless you want to go and see the deeper section now, where we're going to go into this beautiful nature and discover her.
Be still, quiet your mind. We are now at the collective report. We're traveling through nature. And the first message here is, be still and quiet your mind and your life. This is more important than anything else that I say in any report. Be so still that you can touch your heart and hear your heart beat. Tick, tick, tick. Without this, all of these reports that I do, or that you hear, are so very unimportant. Because if you're never still, if you never quiet your mind and hear the heart speak, then your ego is running the train. And you'll be driving around in circles. If you want to get off the train and come to another level, time is up now to find your way into silence and stillness. And believe in that you dare let go of your ego and hear and listen to the needs of your higher self. Do you dare to become a servant for something bigger than the ego? Something as a part of you already know the road towards? Or are success and control and all your learned programming is more important to you? Have you even discovered who you are or what your calling is? Can you feel this consciously? Or there too much clutter and dirt? If there is too much clutter and dirt, you know what step one will be now. To try to don't identify yourself with the noisy voices inside a certain place, which is overruling anything good anyways. It's not giving you any joy, and it's overruling anything inside of you. And this part of you cannot forgive. This part of you will just hold on in order to get drama. Get you in the front seat. Get you in the front of everything you do. You are the loving, forgiving you. Someone who doesn't hold on. Someone who says no to negative manipulation, violence, and power. Who, whenever confronted, just leaves without a fight, quietly and peacefully, if it's not right for you to be there. And if we cannot say no and stay in this peaceful, quiet ego state where the ego is quiet and you just hear the voice of your heart when you speak, you hear that you're soft in your voice, you hear that there's nothing inside of you that judges the other person, you feel your heart, you feel that you can speak without wanting something from someone else, then your ego is away. And if someone's overstepping your boundaries, you just say no peacefully with the same voice and you walk away. If you start fighting, you will know that it's no longer you. It's your ego that has started to take over again. My brother, Jacob, he's a math professor. And I love him so dearly. We have had some sort of reunion. Not that we were at a phase where we never saw each other, but we reconnected in our hearts in such a beautiful way. And I remember 3 days ago, prior to this reading, and I remember that he would always have in his wallet when I was 16 a note that said, no, when he was 16, I was 8, a note that said, treat others like you want to be treated yourself. And he was 16 and he was actually the popular guy in school. And isn't it cool that the popular guy is a role model instead of just someone looking good? I love my brother for this. He always tried as the best he could. I mean, we all have ours. But as my parents also always tried to treat others kindly. And this is this kind part of our hearts that I'm talking about. I just want to say that anyone who has a lot in Scorpio and certain things in their horoscope that are being hit, the crises are worse for you guys right now. So old fear can be triggered from outside of you to the max, and you have to remember that the ones who are triggering it are not the responsible ones for you having this inside of you. So try not to go into the victim role, where you let your old fears take you down to that lower part of yourself where you cannot control anything because you're just in affection, thinking you're now being hit or being the victim, being someone who is a victim for someone else. No, someone else is trying to show you something. It's like that for all of us. Old fear are triggered from the outside to the max these days. So Venus is definitely in a crisis week right now. She's squaring the stuff that went up there in Aquarius. I won't go too deep into all this. So the Venus-Uranus opposition and all this also from last week. Going into this week, you can expect a sudden turn of events of something. The moon will go through Aries, Taurus, and Gemini. So the moon will start off trying to start new stuff up with energy and a lot of, let's do this, oomph and fire and maybe also selfishness, but it will square the things up there in the 10th house, so there will be some confrontations with authority figures and some letting go. And during the first part of the week, moves into Taurus, crosses over Uranus, and is in opposition to all the things in Scorpio. This means that we will definitely feel tense and increased tension around the things we're working with right now as we move into the middle part of the week. And as we were Wednesday, as it meets Uranus, a sudden shift, change of events can happen again. Then at the weekend, next week, it will be in Gemini, communicating, talking, being out and about, King Kongsing. The things in Scorpio, weird, awkward things can come up as well, situations, but the energy will be a little lighter than it was middle week. But definitely an intense week still, as we are now, really in Scorpio. So with the sun as well. So there's different change of directions with Venus in this Venus retrograde phase that I've mentioned many times, which is 40 days and nights until the 15th of November, and then out of the actual whole cycle at the 18th of December. So it's a long cycle, but there will be shifts for you around the 31st of October when Venus is in Libra again, where she's at home. More light air energy instead of Scorpio. So a shift on the 31st of October. A shift again on the 16th of November, or 15th, 16th, depending on where you are, when she's at the bottom of her bow tie in her retrograde phase. You will now feel that you are able to move forward with a new light and new glasses on, and all the very, very deep and hardest issues in your relationships might be possible to let go of here, but only if you really feel them, so it also feels the hardest. So at the 2nd of December, she'll be back into Scorpio again in opposition to Uranus, so a lot can happen here too. There's a turning point that does so that the things that you thought were like they were aren't like that at all. And we are going through over the critical zone again here and see what the future can bring for us after all of this. What have we learned? How can we do this even better when we're in relationships? Can we redecide some of the things that we decided for early on, that we maybe discovered weren't the right things for us, but we learned from. For the Scorpios themselves, relationship situations shift constantly now, new people in and out constantly. So there's a full moon this week, as I said, so it's going to be a very intense week. Venus opposition to Uranus, something really strong, some really strong intensity comes in, and the nodes are squaring Uranus, as we talked about. That is really intense in this Grand Cross. So money and intensity and sexuality are the things that's going on in Scorpio. So other people's money, your money, what do we do with money? Money we share with other people. Sexually, reshaping, redoing, reformulating things in regards to these things. With Venus retrograde here and Jupiter, Mercury is here, Sun is here. So it's all about relationships on a deep level, also the relationship to ourselves. So all water signs are endings, and the first 6 signs in the zodiac are personal signs. They are all about me, I am, I have, I think, I feel, etc. And the next 6 are the impersonal signs. And we have entered a month ago the impersonal signs, where it's about us and the other people in different levels. So usually something new starts in Aries, and Aries is the unconscious energy, sign number 1. And the actions through Taurus and Gemini and Cancers are unconscious about what it's doing, and it ends, this unconscious doing and moving about, etc. is ending in Cancer, in the water sign of Cancer, the 4th sign. So we go through fire, earth, air, water. So we start with the fire in Aries, we go into the earth energy, calm down, feeling can be heavy in Taurus. Then we go to the air energy, talk about lightness, skirting over the surface in Gemini. And then a little bit heavy with water. It's always heavy because it seeks towards the ground, right? And dies is flushed away with the water in Cancer. That was the unconscious energy and actions. And then we'll have a self-conscious period with Leo, where it starts again with fire, and then ideas, and going into Virgo, where it's earth energy, grounding them, manifesting, materializing the ideas there. And then the self-consciousness moves into Libra and develops in regards to relationships, and then into water again. Libra was also air, talk, being about in a lighter thing, and then going into Scorpio, into water signs, where we are now killing the self-consciousness, because we are now in the transpersonal signs, and the transpersonal cycle when it starts in Sagittarius, but we have to kill it first in Scorpio. It's a cycle, and this is how we learn and grow on a spiritual and personal level through the zodiac. So everything, Jupiter, Sun, Venus and Mercury are in the Scorpio, so it's the death of our self-consciousness, and it's really spiritual, mega spiritual, a really mega big spiritual opportunity to ascend, of course. Ascension time, spiritual people, light workers, let go of your ego now, and your hurt and your wounds and your blaming others. It's your past you're letting go of. Don't kill the messengers, please. All of our challenges here as spiritual beings are often our ego, that often are more here in the self-conscious and unconscious part of the first 6 signs. But now we have the chance to really move. So even though we have a higher self, and even though we have souls in this whole story, and we are beings, souls in bodies here that usually are just infinite beings in contact with everything, with God or whatever, and then we are also incarnated in this body, in this incarnation, life after life. And in this body we have an ego that loves drama, and this ego is making the big show, which does that we are effing around in our minds, and we cannot find this moderation and relaxations, because desires, wants, and I want more and bigger, new and better, drama, attention. It's the ego. So that it doesn't have to be removed, it'll just be more and more noisy as you try to get silence. So when you start meditating, trying to get into your silence I talked about in the beginning, you have to know that the ego will be louder. Don't be fooled by it. Stop being the victim of your ego, of other people feeling like it. See that you create your reality. Okay, there's a reason why people do towards you what they do. Find out why. Because you're not in your heart. Always is because you're not in your trust position of the heart. Yeah, well, it's because Peter was also always a jerk, so of course I cannot trust him. No, but if you really cannot trust Peter, why are you with 3 Peter? Did you give him a chance of being trusted with all of your heart and love? What did you contribute with? Did you dare to walk away from him and treat yourself with that love and respect that you want from others? Because that's what you have to do if you want love and respect. Well, so physically and emotional drama is what the ego wants, and pleasure. So the brain that won't stop thinking is Mercury, rational thoughts. But in Scorpio, Mercury cannot be rational. He will feel the intensity. Usually he wants to say that, if I do this and this, then that and that happens. But here he doesn't have control. But he can see with his heart and his feelings if he dares to. So try to use him to investigate, be the detective, as I said last week. So, well, the ego comes up in Leo, and then we have to go to Virgo to get the control of the whole thing. So, Venus is reviewing our connections also to the body. Venus, and actually Venus is the earthly love, but we also have a more spiritual love with Neptune, and Neptune is the higher octave of Venus. So when Venus goes direct, you'll be coming into a beautiful trine with Neptune. Well, it will still be a while, and Jupiter is going through Scorpio, and he will come into grand trine with Chiron. So there will be beautiful, higher spiritual love waiting for us after this ascension process. Don't hold your breath, but know deep inside your heart that everything will be solved and healed if you dare to let go of your need to control. In Scorpio, we're dealing with issues like loss, betrayal, abandonment, neglect, and abuse, forces beyond our controls, from our partners, ourselves, and our impulses, instincts, and a power through merging with other people and uniting on a deep level. This is connection. The deepest connections is in Scorpio with sexual drive, sexual power and force. And society is ruled by this these days, this force, because it's beyond, it's like the stimulus, like alcohol, drugs, and sex has become a drug, and it's just so accepted because everyone does it, then it's okay. It's like also okay, also like in Denmark, people drink a lot. And it's like, well, everyone does it, so that's normal and thereby accepted. Yeah, but when you drink, if you work on your spiritual self, and whenever you drink, you have to know that takes you, because spirituality, when you clear yourself spiritually and meditate, you get into higher levels, higher realms, and every time you drink, you take yourself all the way down again. You have to start all over. And the same thing with sexual stimulants, wanting more. You're just feeding the ego, right? So, we have to open ourselves in Scorpio for the positive sides of Scorpio, and that has something to do with trust, so that we can heal these wounds and love and trust again. So we can open ourselves up for deeper forms of intimacy, connections to others. And the whole intention is to experience this beautiful, sacred sexuality where we connect with our soulmates or twin flames on a spiritual level, not just to get stimuli and not just to... But we also have to know that, of course, we take away some of our spirituality if we just use as the sexual intercourse to get an... I just want to be honest here. I don't remember the English word now. When we get release, males or females, our spirituality also drops. So if this is what we want, and we do this after 2 minutes just to get the release, boom, the energy goes out. We have to know that. But if we use this thing we have with each other to go deeper, deeper, deeper within, then it's something else. We can experience this beautiful sacred sexuality. And the society stimulus has something to do with something new and exciting, with all this Tinder and stuff. But sacred union is about real, lasting stimuli for the soul that we can use in the long run as a soul being, even when we're not here. It's when we can reach deeper in, when we are together with our partner instead. But how do we do it? Well, exploring spirituality between us and reach new and fresh layers inside of ourselves, instead of always seeking outwards, as the whole of society is trying to make us. Like this new times relationships, spiritual relationships will be that we will stay together, and more twin flames will incarnate at the same time to rise up the vibrational level here on the planet. And it's our responsibility to go deeper in as conscious light workers, instead of fearing into new relationships, unless it's supposed to happen, of course. But when we know we found the right person, then use the hard times and to instead take responsibility for ourselves, help each other through the hard times. Help each other when the ego comes out. Instead of just always saying, okay, you're not good enough, I don't want you, you have too many errors, then help the soul, goddammit, instead of just escaping and putting more fear into the person. Try to help, and you'll get it back. We get what we give. It's the whole deal. Yeah. So soon enough we will have Jupiter and Saturn, and expand our consciousness, have fun, explore life on another level. So where do you get your physical and emotional pleasure from? Last thing today, it was a long report, is that if we really want to love, we have to let go of the hurt ego and forgive. The more you feed your ego, the more hurt you will get. The more you feed your ego, the louder it shouts. And when it wants this and that in supermarket, and you just give it to it, it will just shout louder. And that's why it's good to meditate and find soul peace and find out what you actually came here to do on a soul level. What is your purpose? If you can't pinpoint it mentally, then go into your heart and feel every day when you walk around, am I doing something that makes my heart happy? It can just be that you start smiling to other people and spreading love and joy just like that. It's a simple thing. We don't all have to become like this big, great thing. It's just a society that says that. Find your path. Maybe your soul purpose is just to put smiles into this world. Don't follow trends, follow your heart. See you next week. Thank you. Namaste.
There is this angel saying, I'm gonna find my way back home. The secret is love, he said. You've got to lift yourself up. Try again, one day you will break through. What you long for will
Don't follow trends, follow your heart.